morning. Welcome. Happy Freak Show Friday. It's very freaky out there. I don't know if you've noticed. Have you checked out the interwebs today? There is a plethora, if I may mispronounce the word on this Freak Show Friday, of strange and unusual comments mixed in with a thread of bizarrely perfunctory normalcy that in so many ways points to precisely what our problem currently, our challenge in this world, is not one of reality, which is an inescapable element of your life, but with that perception of that reality being so up for grabs. And not only that, the communication of that reality, making it even more difficult to figure out not only what is truly going on, but truly what the shit people are talking about in general. Yes, I love our usual state of abnormal as well. Hi, Josh. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this morning show. If you're new to it, I added this show because of largely demand, and on the premise that we would have a little more time when I'm not playing clips and responding to stuff, because I was foolish to assume that once Trump stopped doing rallies and the like, there would be less content for me to philosophically, intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally teabag every day, and I was wrong about that. Clearly, it's a never-ending flow. And as a matter of fact, the more things normalize, the more life actually finds its way back to the tuning fork of normalcy. The more the people who make a living off of it being out of whack, either by reporting it or encouraging that, will freak out. And so it gets increasingly amusing. Hype train. Thanks, guys, so much. 771 people. Thank you, Christine FF, for subscribing. We're on our way to 1,000. We're always on our way to 1,000. Are we ever going to get there? I think we are. I have hope always. It's in my nature, but it sure is a slog. I'll tell you that right now. That said, there is an obvious and extraordinary trend in the carrying of news right now across the entire spectrum, which I would call the post-Trump flop of the news media currently. In that, and Trump seems to think that this is a good thing, that somehow ratings have dropped off since he left office, since we all no longer needed to white knuckle our government every day, like Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, when his fingers are caught in the dash and he's like, that's pretty much, that was January 20th for everybody. It was just like, gah. You'll get there eventually, Hal. It's a fluid market. What can we say? It's true, Stargal. I know. You know. We know. We both know. We'll get there. We'll make it. So, that said, one of the things that popped up in the news this morning, which I found, you guys know about my third paragraph rule, and that there's some variance in it depending on the quality of the reporting, but this is something that this here it is. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, wait, is there a cat outside my door? Hold on. Is somebody there? Is that somebody? Is that Chipper? Hello, good morning. Chipper, what you doing? No, you're just gonna run away? Yeah, buddy. He wants to play. So, hey, He wants to play. He's a playful boy this morning. Yeah. Hi, buddy. You want playing? They want to see Chip. There he is. What's a boy doing? What's a boy? Hold on. We'll get a full Chip shot this morning. Good morning, buddy. There he goes. There he goes. You guys hear that? Hi. You wanna hop down? You just want to sit here? Either one works for me. So you might just sit here for the whole time. Yeah, hi, buddy. Yeah. All right, it's a morning show, so we don't have to rush. It's just part of it. Can I make him meow? He's got a very quiet meow. It's very squeaky. He hasn't fully found his voice yet. We'll get there. I have no doubt that Murphy will give him voice lessons and we'll have a meowy house like crazy. Yeah, he does have something to purr about. Mm-hmm. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, it's a goodness. I have a chip on my shoulder. Hi, buddy. Yeah. You got a hair in your mouth? You got a hair in your mouth? Yeah, you did. Okay. Hi. Did you get enough to eat? You got enough food? Was 2 cans enough, you maniac? Was it? Was it? No, guess not. Are you going to eat me? Is this where should I name you Donner? Last name Party? No? Okay. All right. I have the fan on, so it's very distracting. All right, you want to get down? Okay, here, hop down. You can get down. Weep. There he goes. He may jump up. We don't know. It's hard to say. He may hop up. Yeah. So, all right, let's go back to where I was. I have a new story to tell. Where'd you go? Oh, he ran out that way. Okay. So this is the story that came up. This is the top of my feed this morning. This was the first story that came into my feed. U.S. employers added the fewest jobs in nearly a year in November, guys. The fewest jobs. Oh no. Oh dear. Now I know what you're thinking. They've been adding jobs hand over fist every month. Oh. And new factories are being built, but U.S. employers added 210,000 jobs in November, the fewest in almost a year. The Associated Press reports the unemployment rate fell from 4.6 to 4.2%. That means that 210,000 people is 0.4% of the unemployed. Do you know how few unemployed people who want to be employed there are in the country if that's the case? Percentages, they can be fun. More on the U.S. The Labor Department released figures on Thursday showing new claims for unemployment insurance rose last week but remain consistent with pre-pandemic levels. Continuing claims fell to 1.96 million, the lowest total since March 14th, 2020, when the pandemic began. Let me run that by you again. The lowest total since March 14th, 2020, when the pandemic began. The unemployment claims that Trump touts from his presidency? Yeah, it took him 3.5 years, like 3 years and 2 months to get there. And it took Biden 8 months. Yeah, and the seasonal jobs are all going to kick in a month, and there's a lot more because of how both leftovers from the pandemic and because of the rise of Amazon and eBay and Etsy and all that kind of stuff as ways that people are going to, get a lot of what they're shopping for this winter. You're going to see a lot of seasonal jobs adjust to those kind of jobs, delivery and warehouse jobs, as opposed to retail in the stores. Although a rise in the retail store is, in certain areas, is, as far as staff, is going to go up. And still there are jobs to be filled. It's not because there's a lack of jobs. It's not because there isn't consumer demand that employers need people to help fill, which would be the 1970s angle. The shooter's getting from Michigan is getting, his parents are getting charged and arrested. I hope so. Dude bought the gun on Black Friday. Ugh. So anyway, so this is one of those things where you read that title, oh no, it's in giant black letters. Dear me, the world is coming to an end. Oh, Chicken Little right again, sorry to doubt you. Meanwhile, U.S. employers added 210,000 jobs in November, the fewest in almost a year. Oh God. The Associated report, the unemployment rate fell from 4.6 to 4.2. 4.6 to 4.2 with just 200,000 jobs. Do you realize how statistically significant 210,000 people in a country of 340 million has to be to change the unemployment figure by 0.4% during that time? I'm going to bore the shit out of you guys. This is going to turn into another lecture on statistics. All right, let's go to other stuff that came up. Oh, DeSantis wants his own military force that he would control. Well, I mean, the governor would control, in which case, if they end up with a Democratic governor, which happens with fair regularity, I guess they would have access to it too. Unless he wants to take it with him, or he's going to form his own brown shirts, is the idea. That seems to be the fear, that this dipshit's going to do this. And he can, by the way, as a governor of any state, he has the right to well-regulate a militia. But guess what? He's looking for, and this is the part that I like, fucking hell. Everybody's like, dear God, he's going to start his own soldier force. Proposes civilian Florida State Guard military force he would control. Dun, dun, dun. The fair, the indignant.
What if I tell you something? I'm moving up in the world. I know theatrics.
That is what we have brought to life.
Skip that. I don't care. I'm not watching this. Hill. Later. Go away. Not interested. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Thursday proposed, yapped about at a podium, reestablishing, so that we've had these before, World War II era civilian military force that he would control, so that he wouldn't have to call up the National Guard with the federal government's insistence if he had to do certain things, and that they, basically, this is where the unvaccinated, like the anti-vaxxers in the National Guard in Florida could go and still serve, but not follow the rules. And basically, like, you're trapped, you've been through a hurricane, you're in some rubble, and instead of a federally sanctioned National Guard coming, that's been fully vaccinated, coming to help you, some measle-laden smallpox religious freak in some sort of alternative Florida outfit that has like a helmet shaped like a gator's face, it goes, hey, let me help you out. I think the worst, 14 words that someone can hear when they've been in trouble is, I'm from the Florida civilian militia. You have measles now. DeSantis pitched the idea of creating a Florida State Guard, which would be independent of federal control, while speaking about his military budget proposal. The Guard would consist of 200 volunteer civilians trained in the best emergency response techniques. Shoot first, ask questions later, and how to wrestle a gator. That would aid in the event of natural disasters or other state emergencies, according to press releases. State emergencies like, elections not going our way, those kind of things. Florida State Guard was initially created in 1941 to fill in for National Guard members deployed during World War II. It was later disbanded in 1947. Not to be encumbered by the federal government. The regulations the federal government comes in place so that you can trust the people that come to serve, protect and serve you, that they don't carry infectious disease. Imagine cowering in rubble because you'd rather lose your foot than your life. All right. He's asking for $3.5 million from the state legislature to establish the unit, which is a great name for it. And can I just say, for the one detail that I'm really enjoying about this story? Anybody? The Guard would consist of 200 volunteer civilians. Now, all of those volunteers would not only, because it would be a state militia, would be registered with the state, and therefore ATF would have access to those records. And the number of guns, how much ammunition they had, any material military gear that they have would also have to be added to this checklist. And so basically, this could also be looked at as a way for Ron DeSantis to spy on the lunatic fringe in his own state. Try this in Michigan. Float this in Michigan. A volunteer militia force controlled by the governor. I'm sure Whitmer would love one of these, where all the wannabes all have to sign up and list every piece of military gear they have with the governor so they know who to call in times of trouble. How many guns you got, Gary? Cool. How much ammunition you got? Great. You got a dinghy? How many bulletproof vests you got? Any MREs? Can we come down there and film the inside of your bunker? It wouldn't be a private army, it'd be a state army. Hal, can you make some Hal Billy t-shirts? I want one. I'll see what I can do. So, DeSantis would use it to spy on women and people of color. I don't know that he could spy on people with it. These guys would be pretty obvious. They would have to, I suppose he could have them as kind of his own, like lost generation Chinese uncle, that Xi Jinping has, like the dudes who, when you're in China, you ever see a dude in his mid-40s walking around smoking a cigarette? He'll be staring at you from across the street if you're a foreigner. And they just keep tabs on you all the time because there's money in turning in spies. It's like a little sub-industry, right? But they're really obvious and stupid looking. Secondly, these guys would only be legitimately called up when they would have to wear some sort of patch that identified themselves as a state militia. Basically just rounding up the lunatics. So, yeah, waste force. That's exactly right. So I'm for it. Knock yourself out, Florida. Go ahead. Pay to create a well-regulated militia that keeps tabs on all the people who go, I don't want to join the federal government. I don't want to join the National Guard. I don't want to guard this nation. It's a bunch of commies now. I want to be on the DeSantis force. Cool. Have fun listing all your gear with the government. Like I don't. It's like the Roe v. Wade stuff. I sent this out this morning, but it seems like abundantly clear to me. Let's see if I can find the actual tweet I sent out. Yeah, here it is. Well, first of all, yeah. One is, what's inarguable? Communist countries have always controlled women's reproductive rights. The state determines when, if, and how many babies a woman carries to term. Seems odd that the GOP is desperately chasing that tradition. Maybe Rep. MTG could explain this. Not only are they constantly talking about the communism, the communism of the communist country, and Biden's a communist and everybody. They're the ones who want to keep track of and enforce pregnancies. The other one is the fact that, technically speaking, the easiest and quickest route to the government being able to put an RFID chip under your skin without your consent is repealing Roe v. Wade, which is not technically an abortion law. It's a medical privacy law, and the government not being able to be between you and your doctor and what gets put into your body or taken out of your body as a base level of freedom. Just as a, as a plumb line for what's legal. Well, once you remove that, there is no baseline where the government can't put an RFID chip in you. It just does not exist. So, and it seems weird that these are the folks who are always like, but the government's going to put a chip in your head and follow you around. They're going to know every movement you make. And I got to tweet this out. Hold on a second. 1 second. I'm on Getter. Hold on. I got to put my credit card information in or they won't let me. Instead of a CAPTCHA, Parler has a thing where you give your eye scan and your social. I think it's real smart, real secure. All right, very strange day in trends. First of all, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There's a huge ad. Then there's that one, like I showed you, that was the first thing up. And then we go to DeSantis. And then poor Shia LaBeouf. Just a mess. Twitter, everybody's saying that, Busy Bone already wants to smoke 3-6 Mafia. This, a rapper, Shia LaBeouf imitating Leonardo DiCaprio, acting as Terrence Howard, portraying Busy Bone. I see. Dude's wearing his own shirt and a scarf so as to keep his neck waddle hidden. Yo. I don't even know who that is, by the way. And some of you were saying that Corey Feldman can't have a career again. And that apparently mullets aren't hip. So everybody's comparing him to Shia LaBeouf. Okay, COVID. This is always in my feed. Has men's behavior towards women changed after Sarah Everhart? I think this is a Channel 5 News and YouGov exclusive poll. Channel. Yeah, these kind of polls, like I don't. Honest to God, I don't know how much they do. Now this is England, so I don't know quite of the background of that case, so we'll not dive into that because that's some murky waters. Kristen Sinema came on. Was she wearing bunny ears or a no? Okay, all right. In full Karen outfit. I'm kidding. This is her not there. Influential moderate. That's an adorable name for her. Shouldn't she be like pansexual marathoning box checker? Kristen Sinema declined to commit to voting for president sweeping social safety net expansion. Right. Why would she?
When I talk to folks about what I believe in, what I can support and what I can't support.
2 seconds later.
Would you be willing to vote with Democrats to hold up the president's mandates?
Well, I'm not going to tell you those things. I think I'm very direct. And I am very upfront when I talk to folks about what I believe in, what I can support and what I can't support.
2 seconds later.
Funny. Been paid off to... There's a lot of this, like, they've been paid off to block Biden and the Democratic agenda until that's a fact. Megaworldwide. New Vanguard U.S. Senators Machina have been condemned by anti-corruption watchdog for accepting a flood of money from Republican and corporate donors. This isn't why they're doing it, though. They're getting this money, but that's what these folks, I mean, they're not going to turn down a bunch of this money, but they're already doing this. They're being paid to do what they would already do. Democrats store shutdown out. Yeah, this is, by the way, that whole thing, this whole like Kristen Sinema and playing, doing this interview, whatever, that's to cover this story. Democrats thwart shutdown, out Cruz's intentions. Last night, Congress avoided a total federal government shutdown. Remember the news about that? Did we hear all the news about that? Haven't you guys heard? Wasn't the whole news about that? What was the second-by-second countdown? No? Did you guys know you were watching football or catching a little news or watching what show were you binge watching while the world was supposed to be falling apart last night at midnight or whatever? Total when both the House and the Senate held back-to-back votes to pass a continuing resolution that will extend funding until midnight on February 18, 2022. This latest stopgap is threatened this week by a few Republicans. They do this all the time. It's a punt, but it won't matter. And then the budget will go through, and the budget will add, the CR covers the debt limit part of it, and you're done. Gives all U.S. businesses with over 100 million January 4th, 2022 to make sure their workers have received at least 2 of the currently approved COVID vaccinations. They got to wear masks starting December 5th and provide a negative COVID test on a weekly basis following the January deadline a month later. So, again, you don't have to... It's not a vaccine mandate. It's never been a vaccine mandate. Getting the vaccine is how you can get out of the mask and test mandate, which is what it is. The only thing that is mandated is the baseline lowest level. Hi, welcome. Good to see you. Good morning. Health check YouTube feed is jumpy, and I've already logged out and logged in. It's still jumpy. That's weird. There's something odd going on over there these days. YouTube, what's wrong with you? Here, let me check my feed through on here. Go back to studio. There's a lot of bouncing around I have to do to check this. Oh, we're almost at 27,000. We got about 100 and we need 102 more subscribers to reach 27,000. Thanks guys. That's a nice little, chip away. 30,000 is obviously our magic number, is the next big one that'll motivate more algorithm. Let's see. Monetize. Done. Okay, save. And then in this, let's see. They're gonna have to do they always check me to see if it's possible. Is Hal Billy married? When do we get a meter? Oh, I probably. Why am I this is so aggravating. Even the morning show gets limited advertising. I don't understand that. I get it, on YouTube, you either get a green $sign if you're monetized, a yellow one if you're limited because they don't believe you're appropriate for all advertisers. By the way, all advertisers aiming at adults because the box is checked that says, this is not made for children. So these are presumably ads aimed at grown people. But I always get limited on that. I get maybe because of Sandy, thank you for becoming a member on YouTube. That helps too. You can actually become a member on YouTube, and that supports the channel as well. Thank you. And then there's a red one with a line through it that tells you that you won't get, you're not monetized at all because you violated something. Meanwhile, let's see. Yep. 500 folks just in the morning show. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. 3 new members today. No chat revenue, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. It's a job like any other. I guess I have to remind everybody. There's also the holidays that are approaching. Boy, oh boy, do I have merchandise. There you go. I pinned some merchandise while I was in there. Lovely. In the weeks leading up, I'm going to be doing on the Twitch stream for subscribers, I'll be doing giveaways on some of the merch that's over there as well. I got that kind of thing up and running again. So, but in there, it's a curious thing to me. It seems to be fine. Yay, Sandy. That this is and has always been a masking and testing mandate. You don't have to get vaccinated according to any of this. You're just going to have to look forward to 52 Q-tips next year. Who gives a shit? Buck up, tough guy. Get tested once a week and wear a fucking mask. whiners, weaklings, biatches. I don't. Yeah. So yeah, and basically, this is what Ted Cruz wants to shut down. Wanted to shut down the U.S. government. Yeah, you heard that right. Shut down our government. Shut it down. Just shut it down. Who needs it? You know what I mean? Live free or die, right on. You just shut it down. I'm sure the citizens of Texas would enjoy a good old-fashioned Mexican invasion, taking back that territory if there's no longer a federal government of the United States. I'm sure Canada and Mexico, China and Russia would just divvy up the territories amongst themselves. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Wes. And whoops, I scrolled by that. Which one am I on? And thank you, Candy. Hush, she says. Never. I have to, you know. When, you know, if I don't mention it all the time, it just like it dries up. It's the weirdest thing. Don't fund the government, so the good people of this government should be shut down. Shut it down. Do not pass.
This government should be shut down. You want to know why it should be shut down? Because the people in here cannot control themselves. The people in here don't understand how to balance a checkbook. And the people in here do not deserve the responsibility on how to spend the American people's money. $29 trillion. $29 trillion, Madam Speaker. Shut it down.
Gentlelady's time is expired.
Do not pass the CR. Shut it down.
So, again, $29 trillion, that's the overall debt. It keeps going up. Yeah, well, so does the money supply and the wealth of the United States. You do realize we're the biggest economy in the world, right? And that our total debt equals less than 1 year of GDP. Imagine if your house, your car, your private security firm, your telephone, internet, and cable bill, your water and your power, and the entirety of anything you have in debt was only equal to 1 year of your salary, whatever that salary is. Whatever you make in 1 year, all of your bills only add up to that, including your house, like everything. And by the way, you can make small payments and sort of increase that debt as you're continuing to make more every year, which is how the United States economy has grown, even with the setbacks of 2008 and the like. You can keep making money on that and pay a little more interest, or a little less interest actually, because you can set the interest rate yourself year to year. And you could pay it if you needed to desperately. You could work for 1 year and pay the whole thing off. Imagine that's you. And now, imagine someone coming up and telling you that you need to quit your job, kick your family out of the house, knife your tires, take a sledgehammer to your HVAC unit and punch holes in your roof because you couldn't afford to pay off your house in 1 year without tightening your belt completely or something. That's the argument. That you should burn your house down rather than pay for it. Right. You'd love it, Carlene. Seriously, if your house cost like the entirety of basically all your life expenditures in a year, if you could pay them on whatever your salary is in a year is equal to that, because that's the GDP of the United States. It's actually higher than that. It's about 31 now. And it's going to grow. By the way, $29 trillion, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. $29 trillion. Wait, hold on. I'm the wrong keyboard again. Hi, I'm Hal Sparks, and I'm here to tell you that the future is so bright you might need to start dressing like Joe Biden in a Corvette with the top down on a sunny day. One industry alone, AI in particular, and its reach into biomedical advances, automation, self-driving cars, that's all, although that's a separate multi-trillion-dollar industry in and of itself, will create about $100 trillion as a dividend for society and business by when? 2055? No. 2075. $100 trillion in the next 100 years? No. No. In the next 3 and change. Hi. Idea 42. Yeah. There is no Hunter Biden laptop, Steve. Good luck, though. Find a picture of it. And then answer, and when you can't, tell me why Steve Bannon refers to it as the hard drive from hell and not the laptop from hell. Because it's a slip he does when he realizes that there is no laptop. They bought the hard drive from Russians in Ukraine. But, keep trying to destroy the country. Meanwhile, there's a story related to that we'll get to in a moment. The combined value to society and industry of digital transformation across industries could be greater than $100 trillion over the next 10 years. Combinatorial, that's a fun word. That's like informational. Informational is not a fucking word. Don't start with me. There's information, and then there's, informational is, well, it informs you, but the information I'm giving you might not be information. It might be bullshit. Informational means it doesn't have to be true. Detailed findings can be asked at digitalreform.org. This is this is the first thing that popped up, but there's a dozen of these kind of stories about like the pace of AI expansion in all these things and what it's going to do for industry and the new industries that are going to come from this stuff. It's why Meta, Facebook can put whatever $10 billion into into an AI thing and know that even if it's a relative flop because of the expansion of the environment that we're going to be operating in over the next 10 years, it will make money no matter what. Even if it's a low-end win for them, it's on that scale, a low-end win is hundreds of billions of dollars. I got news for you, folks. Most of the watch for your freakier QAnon friends and the hyper right wing and the uber safe space anti-turf lefties, like the fringes. Watch them start sequestering themselves into further and further bifurcations of the internet, first by just typing, and then eventually through augmented reality, and then VR, and then never leaving their house in some sort of gel chamber. Because that's increasingly where this is going to come from. There is let's see if I can find. Yeah, here you go. This is Forbes. Move out of the way, stupid. These giant ads at the top are so aggravating. AI healthcare stocks will mint the world's first trillionaire. You know why? You know why AI healthcare stocks will mint the world's first trillionaire? Because that person who it reaches that bar first over other, other industries, other business leaders, will save the lives through an advance in technology like this of billions of people currently on the planet and billions more who will live fear-free of certain diseases and illnesses and genetic malformations and all kinds of stuff in the future. The tangential and carry-on effects of AI healthcare going online and becoming functional will save billions of lives. And everybody will go, well, that trillionaire doesn't deserve their dollars. Well, the billions of people who would be dead or deformed otherwise would probably beg to differ. And they won't have to beg, because what will make this a $1 trillion industry is that it will cost a pittance compared to our modern healthcare system. You totally, Rob wants a jail chamber. You would, Rob. And I'm with you. Like, we both want to be like a little respirator in like the Luke Skywalker floaty tank, while we get a brand new skin, like in Ghost in the Shell or something. And you just live in a AI environment where it takes about 2 days that you're in this chamber. You're floating in there about 48 hours while your skin all peels off and is rejuvenated for this other stuff, and you get a brand new skin. And during that time, you're put into kind of a stasis hypnotic state where they feed Matrix style into your nervous system the experience of living an entire life from birth to 90 years old in the year 1965 into your head. Yeah, that's going to happen. It may be happening already. So, this is, while Fox Business and everybody wants to doom and gloom you that the world is coming quickly to an end and that no one expects the market or anything to carry on, and it's all, the crash is right around the corner. The crash, and by the way, whenever you see somebody on YouTube like Johnny Bravo or any of these other dicks talking about a crash, what they mean is a giant dip. They don't even look at it as a fucking crash anymore. A crash, even the stock market crash in the 20s wasn't a crash. It went on. You ever drive a car that's been totaled? No. Hal, I just want to let you know that even though I don't know you personally, I truly believe you're not only nice, but a great human being. I'm glad you're in this world. Aw, thank you. That's really sweet, Vina said. I appreciate that. I am very nice. I really am. I'm to a fault sometimes, I have what I think Jordan Peterson would probably call toxic agreeability. But luckily, I have enough of an enormous ego to not get trod upon like a tiny Stonehenge. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for the super chat as well. I need you guys to know that while everybody is doomsaying all over social media, behind the scenes, which is right out in the open if you bother to even look around, this is the conversation that's going on in, why did that page just shrink all of a sudden? What the hell was that? Behind the scenes, this has been the ongoing storyline. You won't read about these stocks in the mainstream media. The average investor doesn't even know they exist. Don't let that fool you, because a small hidden group of companies is figuring out how to merge artificial intelligence with medical technology. Now, this is in line with the other thing that I was showing you about, yeah, here you go. We just looked at the top story of this, 100. VentureBeat says that, can the AI economy really be worth 150 trillion by 2025? Yes. Yes. Sorry. Thank you, Aggie. And I'll put Band-Aids on faults like the Grand Canyon. No, I just don't allow scrapes, scratches, and the normal injuries that someone gets over their course of their life to be told they are cancerous and terminal when they fucking well are not. I will not engage in the misery industry that profits off of making people afraid. Not only because it's immoral, but it's a lie. And the people who are, and this is what I'm trying to show you, is the people who are just behind all that stuff, who, the people who invest in the things that Forbes tells them to invest in long term, are the same people who invest in, Fox or have AT&T stock when it owns OAN, who is spending the rest of the time telling everybody to end their existence on Earth because there's no there, that the future is this combination of like nihilism and pessimism that passes for news most of the time. Bullshit. Like I said, the world has been ending my whole fucking life, and it still ain't here. And the irony that a lot of the people that, that push back on what I say on this channel or in my conversations about this, have the people that most have a knee-jerk reaction to it are the same people who very quickly will mock Christians who claim that Jesus is coming back in their lifetime and they just know it. They'll just shit on those people left and right. As they should, because, according to Matthew, nobody knows when Jesus is coming back, and anybody who says so is an asshole. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But I look at most of the doomsayers that I keep seeing everywhere for the Jim Joneses that they are. Because that's what's happening. Jim Jones didn't die of Kool-Aid poisoning a long time ago, along with his followers. He just expanded the brand into, it's sort of like what people accuse the pharmaceutical industries of doing all the time. They never cure the disease. They just give you a medicine that will treat it forever and ever so they can keep you on the hook, that idea. This is the new Jim Jones. The new Jim Jones is, don't drink the Kool-Aid and die and go to the other side with me. Just sip the poison every fucking day. Yeah, Jones shot himself, right? You know what I'm talking about. The idea is that he was selling the idea to kill yourself with this poison at his direction. Now they just want you to sip the poison every day. Oh, it was a compliment? Okay, yeah, 42. I see. I'm not band-aiding Grand Canyons, though. These are my issue is that people are being told that minor scrapes are the Grand Canyon. Well, that's how you build a tolerance to the poison, right? Except no one has, YouTube. I think I'm thinking in terms of arsenic and old lace. It has an A in the title. Arsenic and old lace, where they would slowly poison people with the cookies, or flowers in the attic was the other one, where the mother is slowly poisoning the children with the arsenic on top of the cookies, slowly over time, so they just die of a mysterious illness. Or it's like, if you look at the maternal attitude of most modern news organizations, or Fox News would be like a weird stepdad. They're like De Niro in A Boy's Life. This weird sort of the sort of CNN and MSNBC have this sort of matriarchal approach to giving you, where the matriarchy in this particular family has Munchausen by proxy. How there's an image of Jim Jones, your doppelganger. He also looks kind of like Elvis. I mean, come on. Flowers in the attic. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, it jumped out of my head and then right back in. Yeah. Arsenic and old lace, they were poisoning their guests slowly. Same thing with flowers in the attic. They would just sprinkle it in with the sugar, and that's how they would kill you slowly over time, because they could make money off you during that time. If you just murder somebody, I mean, they're a dead resource. Now the fearful are no longer, like a pineapple farm where they're the workers on a pineapple farm. The current measure is turning you into a dairy cow. Your dad played Teddy in Arsenic and Old Lace. That's fantastic, Robert. That's right. So, in all of these, artificial intelligence set to transform global productivity, working patterns, and lifestyle and create enormous wealth. There is no question that this is the truth. And also, it will result in fewer and fewer children because people will, in the third world, for example, will no longer need to have children simply as a retirement plan. They'll have them because they want to have them, and they'll raise them, on a one-to-one level that's closer to manageable instead of having 8 kids in case 2 of them die in the factory like we did in the pre-industrial age. Or they poison you by telling me the cure is the disease. Yeah, that's a lot of work though. Usually they can just, like currently, you guys know I love to play the "Am I Evil" mental exercise. If I was evil, but I call it "Am I Evil" because of the Metallica song. But the idea is like if you were really evil, what would you do? Would you do what people think is happening that's evil right now, or would you do something more insidious and would you think it through? And it kind of, and the example I use is, everybody's claiming that vaccinating people is a matter of population reduction, and they're going to inject this thing into you that's going to kill you, and then the only way you can save yourself is by not giving the injection. Well, wouldn't it be a lot easier to just let a disease roll over the earth and tell people you need the vaccine, even if it was innocuous, and know that the people who don't get the shot are they'll be the ones that will be lost? Why would you, knowing that that's how certain people think, why would you make it so that those are the only ones you would save? You would create a disease and have the antidote in the form of a vaccine. You would do both of these things, right? If you were truly evil, and you needed some people left around, but you need to get rid of, by volume, some other people. The anti-vaxxers and the antisocial, maggot Trump parade kind of people wouldn't be your first choice intellectually. If I were the devil, yeah, Paul Harvey. It's a Diamond Head song. That's true. That's true. And amazingly, if you listen to Diamond Head, or even Budgie, the Bread Fan, cover that Metallica did is dead on. The only difference is that in that genre, Hetfield has a slightly more pleasing voice, and I think that's why. Why their versions are more popular, because they're not that different from the original recordings if you really listen to them. So, I'm constantly fascinated by the overt and the sort of semi behind the scenes conversations. And by the way, this is why. Let me tell you, this kind of stuff, this conversation, which is happening everywhere, and people in the government know this. They know the Chinese are rushing to get into AI. It's going to gack up their systems because they have no safety protocols on it, and they're going to isolate their system internally so that they, in a way that they think will contain it to somehow. If there's a country on the world that's going to launch its own nukes on itself with AI, it'll be China, because they are just so fucking slapdash with all this stuff, and their safety protocols are for shit. They've got some solid technology, most of it unfortunately stolen from Taiwan and Europe and us. But inside the Senate right now, I understand why does Mitch McConnell not give a shit about Ted Cruz, and why does he not want to shut down the government, and why do they really not care? Why do the MTGs of the world freaking out about this budget deficit, while Republicans, under the table everywhere have no interest in gacking up the American economy and fucking the government and shutting it down? Really? Why? If any of what's being said is true about the dead or about, communism or any of that bullshit, if any of it's true, why wouldn't they, line up behind her or agree with that? It's because they are all looking at this. They are all seeing these numbers coming down the pike. This is, you guys saw and I'm curious if this is real or not. The robot video that everybody's putting around. Let's see. I'll just, like, this part thing. It'll probably come up in the top. Yeah, here it is. This one. It's kind of amazing. Watch this when the eyes open. Do you know how many of these I'm going to program with my act and send all over the goddamn country? So imagine a world where I can wear a sensor on my face, a total covering thing, a body taptic suit, and then I can send out robots like this to comedy clubs all over the country, and all at the same time, they go online, and I'm doing a real live show, and I can see the audience and that kind of stuff, but I'm nowhere near the fucking place. By the way, that's not a Tony Stark thing in the center. That's a speaker. And the only difference right now is that the pupils don't dilate. That's something they're going to have to fix. Become a VTuber. I'd like an AI boyfriend, please. Oh, believe me, they're on their way, Rebecca. They're on their way. What is my purpose? To butter toast, right? Look at that, though. Look at the fingers. Look at the finger articulation. And here's the thing. All of these parts, all of these pieces, with the, including the face, by the way, would be available at some point in the future for a person to replace some part of themselves that's been damaged or destroyed or whatever. That right? Yeah, but can it play guitar? No, but someone who's lost their arm, I'm dead serious. Someone who has lost their limbs, the creation of these kind of robots with this much articulation is a giant step forward for amputees. I mean, and I love the see-through plastic dome thing that's right out of iRobot. The rubber neck muscles like that, so you can cover it with a skin so it'll look like the arms are moving. What would get you a fingernail? You wouldn't. You'd have to either attach them like fake fingernails. I lost my foot. I want a new one. Yes. Well, that's exactly like Webby Lobo. There's they're working on like an articulated foot that can help you balance as opposed to just a piece, right? And that's all going to be through how robots walk and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, I will be first in line to replace my shoulder cuff with one of these new things at some point in the future. But here's what I'm curious about. And I love this kind of stuff. I'm a total futurist. I am not girlfriend for all the incels. That's right. Oh, believe me, that's coming. Ask Pris. Look at the prototype in the corner. This little guy right over here. This little forgotten one. This is like right out of a Disney movie. What about me? Do I no longer I'm the old model, right? Our anthropomorphizing faculty, that humans do this, is just why our care for animals is unique to us, and why our cruelty to animals is a unique marker for our negative behavior. You can track a growing serial killer by how they treat animals. And you can also recognize that human beings can attribute emotional content to other animals in a way that the majority of other animals. I will always leave room for dolphins and elephants and wolves and other animals that have done extraordinary things to kind of do a certain amount of wolframorphizing something. our ability to do this makes it way easier for us to adapt to this kind of stuff. What about actors like you and me? We'll do more live gigs. Use my image, and we'll make my own robot, and then I can do 5 plays at once with my true performance. You can perform you could imagine all the places you could perform. She thought she needed a nail fill, right, Francis? That's right. Right. This is, I mean, if you want one thing that would more than likely bring down the excess, what would be excess population in terms of people having kids that they don't care for or don't take care of, largely the reason for that is to take care of the elderly in a lot of societies. If you replace that elder care aspect and nursing and things like that with this in the next, again, this AI thing I was showing you earlier about $150 trillion by 2025. Look at this. Look at that hand. That's positively archaic compared to the one on the rubber one on this one. Look at the silicone hand on there. Now, this is just playing out a program. It's not seeing any of this. It's not seeing its own hand. It's playing out this like I'm awake kind of story. It's all bullshit, but that doesn't matter, especially when you have someone who's got Alzheimer's or dementia until we cure that, which they're already working on, between individuals who are working on this and AI mixed together. They've discovered a particular protein that leads to dementia and Alzheimer's, and they're going to eradicate it in the next 5 years, more than likely. They're going to start human trials on treatments for it within a couple of years, and you'll only need it if that protein gets past a certain point, and they can bring it down, kind of like a statin drug. And then once you bring it down, you can stop you can have a genetic modification that would make you not produce it over time if that turns out to be safe. Yeah, the Alzheimer's aspect of this is gigantic. People will just have sex with them. Oh, not just, V. Gabriel. And believe me, that's not a bad thing. Fully articulated sex robots that can make you feel like you have worth are going to be a huge victory for a large section of the populace that feels very, very, very alone a lot of the times. Don't yuck people's yums. I'd rather some angry jerk have a robot he can have sex with that has no emotional connection to how it's treated than a human being. Alzheimer's is pharmacy's big payday. Sort of. One of the big treatments that they've looked at is a genetic modification, which would be permanent. I mean, the treatment would be expensive at first, cheaper later, but then it might just be something that's overall, normalcy. It'd just be, you might even pass it on genetically. China needs female bots. Yeah. I don't think it's a grim prediction. I think we're going to cohabitate with robots. There's just no way. There's no way. Just get used to the idea and start figuring out how to solve the real problems from it instead of just like, they're going to rise up and murder us. It's such a, there's so much sort of guilt over the idea of slavery that is put into how people are informed their behavior or their feeling about robots, that certainly they're going to get tired of our bullshit and murder us at some point. They're going to rise up like the proletariat or something. And because we're basing it on the fact that we get tired the way we get tired, that we have emotional biological connections to our physical well-being in a way that a robot simply would not. The best example, I swear to God, the best example of a robot mentality, a robot's actual concept of itself as an existing element and its place in the world, legitimately, not underplaying or overplaying it, is the the robot in The Mandalorian. Did anybody see The Mandalorian? Menace Grim think we'll need artificial emotional support. Well, it isn't, because we already do in some ways. Some people just do. It's not that everybody will. As a matter of fact, there'll be very distinct differences. I mean, watch Lars and the Real Girl. It's sort of an early treatise on this concept. Yes, that's a speaker in their chest, in its chest. Would you consider the robot mentality like a person with autism? No, because a person with autism has a biological reference for the way that they think. A robot is simply a mathematical calculation. It always will be. Again, AI, I would argue, is technically SI if it actually exists. If there ever becomes a moment where true sentience is possible through technological means, that would be SI, synthesized intelligence, not artificial. Artificial means they're faking it. The reason why the Turing test about artificial intelligence is such that it is that that's how you detect that artificial intelligence has reached a pinnacle, is because you can trick humans. Well, we're easy to trick. Look at Ricky Gervais talking to fucking Elmo. It's not hard. It's not hard to trick humans into thinking something's alive or has a soul. We're predisposed to do it. It's one of the cool things about humans. But if it ever achieves it, if a robot or an android ever finds its way to truly having self-awareness on a spiritual level that's equal to what humans have, that would be synthetic intelligence. It's been synthesized. Chappie's a terrible example of it because it's a dog story. There's a lot of those, like even the new Finch, the new Tom Hanks movie. It's basically Turner and Hooch with a robot. But the robot in does anybody know what I'm talking about in The Mandalorian? Who's watched The Mandalorian on here? Yeah, Blade Runner is different, though. Those are not robots. Those are replicants. They are cellular replicants of human beings. They're biological. Right. So, yeah. Some of you can back me up on this. Remember it's a robot. It's the assassin robot that's been around since they put Han in Carbonite in the original movies. He looks, he's like he looks like a little cell tower with arms, and he can spin around and shoot and all that kind of stuff. And he's got a program to go. He's a bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunting robot. And at one point in it, spoiler alert, it's been out for a while. Watch it. It doesn't take anything away from it. KSO2, thank you. He sacrifices himself. Is it IG-88? I have to look it up. Yeah, so that robot sacrifices himself. He walks into the lava while he's shooting and saves the humans. And he goes, "You can't go." And he goes, he basically says, "I was never here." And he tries to, it's the Mandalorian, who's a man in a helmet who vaguely looks like him, is a human being in a suit. And therefore, he's projecting his own feeling of being silver onto, K2SO, yes, was in Rogue One. IG-88 is the one that we're talking about. IG-88 effectively dies, yes, much like the Terminator, sacrifices himself in a way that we can't relate to because we believe in the spiritual existence of a human being. Even atheists have this emotional reaction. If you don't believe me, ask Ricky Gervais how he would feel about someone killing his dog. I mean, it's just dead now. It just lived and it died like a bug. Who cares, right? That's that's where the end of that happens, which the anthropomorphizing is impossible to get past in a lot of human beings, no matter what their belief system. And in that, the Mandalorian, he projects that onto this robot, and the robot goes, "Don't worry about it. I never did exist." Hold on. Now we're gonna have to look it up. It's gonna aggravate me. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's this guy. It is. It's IG88. This dude. And I called him a dude. He's a flute droid. He's an assassin droid manufactured by Hollow-On Laboratories, who worked as a bounty hunter. He was on Hoth. He was summoned by Darth Vader. He was one of the ones that went after, was trying to find Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. This one. He basically sacrifices himself as much as he can in the storyline, and in a way makes this very distinct point that a robot, atheists aren't soulless people. No, I didn't say they were. I just said that they don't believe they are. they believe they are. Atheists believe they are soulless. They have to. You can't separate those two. The belief in a soul is a spiritual belief. It is incompatible with atheism. So, anyways, that's not the point we're trying to get into. It doesn't matter. I think we all live in a sim, and atheists are NPCs, and when they die, there is nothing because there never was. Yeah, martyr bots, right? I'm fucking with you. Relax. So, and notice how the eyes don't dilate in this, which is something they'll eventually have to fix, because that's one of the uncanny valley parts. Yeah, Surrogates with Bruce Willis. It's an interesting look on it. Yeah, that people, their robot version of them doesn't age and interacts and all that kind of stuff, and they experience it by staying home in their weird little apartment buildings, or somewhere between that and Ready Player One. Yeah. Frog AI is already working and reproducing. Well, working is, it's functioning. I don't know that it's working, but I know what you mean. Yeah, the micro expressions are the most difficult part. They're getting way better at it. I mean, I have to say that, like, the Hall of Presidents that your grandkids are going to experience, or even your if there's a brand new baby in your life, the Hall of Presidents they're going to see at Disneyland, or even the people walking around the park, like the characters. Holy shit. As my neighbors are mowing their lawn or throwing their neighbors in a chipper shredder. Do I consider myself an empath? It's a good question. Because I can recognize people, because I don't have a problem feeling other people's hurt or feeling their anger or whatever when I'm around them or whatever. But I can also recognize it without absorbing it. Maybe that's a skill I developed over time. Oh, oh no, you mean Trump will be smart? No, I don't. It'd be like Disney, it'd be cool, but not in the real world. Well, here's the thing. You're not going to be able to avoid it. It's coming. This is all going to be, imagine the Trump AI. It would probably, react towards the real Trump the way Roy Batty acts towards Tyrell. I'm just saying. I'll wait. I'll be dead. What is coming? This as a normal part of human life. In Western countries and first world countries, for sure, for a long time. And then the unskinned ones will be walking around building stuff in what would be the former third world. Yeah. Trump AI would be the easiest to program, no question. And by the way, this is technically humanoid robots. Technically not a robot. It's a digital marionette. These are puppets. They're just programmed puppets. That's another way to look at these more distinctly is what you're seeing now. Eventually, they'll be robots because they'll be somewhat autonomous. They'll have a higher programming code that's pretty extraordinary. And the new, the Turing test is when, humans are convinced that the robot or the artificial intelligence they are talking to is alive. Very easy standard. The Sparks test is how long it takes for AI to bullshit itself into thinking it's alive. The Sparks test is to set up a series of questions and concepts that a robot need answer for itself to truly believe through computation that it exists, and that its existence is something bigger than its simply being present, like a rock or something. A rock exists, but it is not existentially aware. The existential awareness that would be required for AI to transition into SI is, I would call the Sparks test. And it's two questions past the Kirk test, which is everything I've told you, everything I say is a lie. If everything you say is a lie, then even that is a lie, does not, right? That's the Kirk test. The Sparks test is that the computer goes, but if you're fucking with me. Like, that's how you know. Once a robot goes, I get it, you're fucking with me. Okay, sorry, man. That's the Sparks test. A robot will be, at some point, nearly as smart as I am, but never as charming. But they are. These are programmed puppets. What you're watching right now is puppetry. I love that they call them robots, but call them the fuck down. Even the ones that do, work on assembly lines, for example. Automated assembly lines and factory automation. Not robots. Call them robots. It's fun to call them robots. They're puppets. Yes, and AI is not robotics, exactly. AI is, robotics will be one of the ways that AI could express itself in the world. And yes, these are animatronics, correct. Puppetry. It's puppetry. And when people say stuff like humanoid robots, it's kind of a dick move. I mean, they got this one over here that's got legs. So if it, none of them are walking around. They're all going to be on a tether. I love this dude over here. Like, he's got this whole, like, I'm about 6 weeks away from getting laid. Charles, come up here. Stop making a girlfriend and meet someone. The neighbor's daughter is over here. She's real. James, get up here. She's got tits, I'm telling you. Mom, quit it. Tickety-tackety-tickety-tack. But I want you to remember this. The thing I want you to know that's most important about this particular robot, this particular puppet, is when you see shit like this, this is what I want to pop into your head. When you see that, remember this. Because that's what this is. Hand crank. Look at that crank on the front right there. Gotta make it happen through your hand. And then that's what this is. This thing right here, which looks all advanced and oh my God, That's what this is. You are looking at a Model T. Ex Machina is a good movie about robot AI. Ex Machina is hot trash. I fucking hate that movie. It was one of the reasons why I get irritated when dumb people write smart people movies. Holy shit. The Oscar Isaac's character in that is just, ugh. Yeah, it's a shit version of Pinocchio. It's just, come on. So, no, I was not impressed with Ex Machina. I found the movie and the concepts therein embarrassing, lazy. I mean, it's basically like a crap version of Frankenstein. It's just Frankenstein again. Like, how many fucking times do we have to make Frankenstein before we recognize that the medical advancements that were made that scared everybody, that made the Frankenstein mythology and the story around it came out because humans should not play God by trying to, like, do organ transplants or replace people's eyes once they've been blinded. And it was a cautionary fright tale about medical advancement. Those very same medical advancements are the reason why we have heart transplants and kidney transplants and people are fucking alive now, and it's just silly. Like, I appreciate the story. It's very scary. It has as much to do with the reality of medical advance as the werewolf has to do with puberty. Yes, the VFX in Ex Machina was beautiful, but the story is fucking bullshit. I enjoyed Ex Machina. You have to dispose of your disbelief. You can't. It's a science-based movie. Same thing with Westworld. Please. I got news for you, folks. You're projecting your own anger, laziness, sorrow, and discomfort onto robots who will not give a shit. You ever seen somebody who's just kind of long-suffering and has a good mood about them and knows that the work that they're doing is more important than any kind of intermittent problem they might have over the course of their day, and they can just kind of get on with it, like, no matter what, they just do their kind of regular job, smiling even when it's hard? You know anybody like that? You know anybody, you ever meet a waiter who, you know, even though it's busy, or always just smiling because they have a kind of greater concept that about what they're doing, so they don't really feel the kind of pain, displeasure, and annoyance that some of the other staff do, because they just sent a soldier through because they have their own reason for doing it. So they don't really actually react negatively the way some people do, because they don't take stuff personally. They don't get upset. Yeah, a lot of you are that person, bless your heart. Imagine that in a permanent sense. That's robots among us. The idea that, like, every fucking robot turns into some sort of nihilistic murder machine. They watch TV for 2 days and they're like, all humans do is create war. The only way to end war is to end humans. Like, it's such a fucking chintzy 5-year-old bullshit way of looking at the world, and it's silly. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. There will be people who make robots that are there to kill you. And they won't be doing it because morally humans are a scourge. They'll do it because they've been programmed to kill you. And there will be robots that we program to protect us from the robots that some asshole has decided to program to kill us. And those robots will allow themselves to be destroyed in the process of saving us because they've been programmed to do so. Nowhere in that is one of these robots going, I have been driven to destroy by the destroying overlords. Humans must be, like, fuck off with that nonsense. It's so stupid. I don't care. It's childish. Thank you, Lulu girl. You suggesting I've been caring for this Tamagotchi for 26 years for nothing? No, I'm saying that it's all upside, no down. Isn't that drones now? Yeah, exactly. There's an element of drones in that. Except drones, currently, there are no automated drones. There are no, currently there aren't any, like DNA or target-seeking drones that act totally autonomously without a human intervention. And there'll be all sorts of laws and rules about it that countries like the United States and the Western world and parts of the Middle East and parts of Asia will participate in. And then there'll be a bunch of fucking North Korean drones that don't give a shit, that will just go, that'll be anybody black, anybody white, like that'll target like that. And that will be a wave we're going to go through. And that'll be the big dumb part. The smaller part will be nanobots and the future of that part. Those are the concerns. But it won't be because some robot watches television and decides, well, they need to, like, I am contacting all the computers and launching all the nukes because, man, it's like, shut up. How do you ever just enjoy something knowing it's not realistic? Westworld's brilliant fun. Within some limits. I can enjoy any movie as long as it sets its own rules and sticks to its own rules. That's the only thing I need. Even if I don't agree with the concept. The problem is when sci-fi tries to layer over with effectively a realistic version. They try to dub it in reality in this part of it, and you have to call bullshit on, like, all right. Runaway with Tom Selleck is a TV series. I would love to do that as a TV series. And that was, again, that's not about runaway robots. That's about an evil puppeteer played by Gene Simmons, who through his chip causes these things to target and turn on the people in the house and destroy themselves in the process. That's puppeteering. It's not AI. It's a crucial difference, and maybe people don't care to make that distinction, but it sure as shit will. The $6 million man is going to be like the $6 trillion man. I'm not opening the pod bay doors. I just can't do that, Dave. I'm sorry. I am the most reliable person ever made. Hal reminds me of Neil deGrasse Tyson. All right, that's fighting words. Because that asshole actually believes in that astronomers actually are tracking what they think they're tracking right now, and that black holes aren't just dead pixels. We'll get to. I'm just messing around. They are forming synapses, not programming. In which one? Ficus needs to be a TV series. Yeah, probably. $1 trillion, a hefty chunk of change. It is now, but ask the Japanese how many yen a television costs versus, how much, a bag of rice costs in yen in 1918 or something. Ficus definitely needs to be a TV series. It's going to be okay, Nash Tucker. I'm not worried. We all have black holes and they usually don't suck things in. Ouch. Ficus the Conqueror. Absolutely. It's Halception, right? Ghost in the Shell, the net is vast and infinite. Ghost in the Shell, I enjoyed. Blade Runner is my favorite movie, and Ghost in the Shell is my favorite manga movie. And the people who got upset, by the way, about Scarlett Johansson playing the character in the live action movie are assholes. Because the character in the comic book, in the cartoon, and in the manga had blue eyes. Fuck off with this nonsense. The whole point is that our parts are now interchangeable. What does it even mean to be human? It's not about race at that point. That's what made it such a great story. People are fucking chasing hate everywhere they go. But anyways, the idea of both of those is how far, in the case of Ghost in the Shell, how many parts of me can you replace and I still retain my humanity? She was always worried they were going to cut out one piece when they replaced it. And there would never, and then that would be where her humanity is housed. Right? Thanks, Lalima. Oh, nice, Lemaire. Yeah. I just love that. And I love Blade Runner deals with a lot of those things in humanity's relationship with God, our own feeling about slavery, how we treat other human beings, the humanity, how we project our feelings about humanity onto certain people who look human to us, but we consider not human. There's a lot of layered thoughts in Blade Runner that are kind of beautiful. Unfortunately, in the director's cut and the other ones where they take out the narration that Harrison Ford does, they also remove the line that includes the N-word that makes that point, which is crucial to understanding bigotry in the future. And I love that part of it. It makes a fantastic point, right? And how we treat South Korea has already come up with a robot bill of rights. Yeah. Here it is. South Korea has the South Korean Robot Ethics Charter of 2012. This charter was drafted in order to prevent social ills that may arise out of inadequate social and legal measures to deal with robots in society. Love you. Hold on. My girl's leaving. Give me 1 second.
Sorry, they're I texted them yesterday.
Is that our guy?
Yeah, we're there cleaning our yard.
Weird.
I was like, we're going to show what we okay, now.
Right. I'm just amazed that they're here. Look at that. Okay. Weird. All right. I thought our neighbors over the wall were doing it because I just heard the. Oh, look at that! All right. These are guys. We have AstroTurf here. We don't have real grass at all, so nobody mows the yard here. The guys are out there. They're just using they're just blowing dust off the grass. I'm more upset that they ruined the GI Ghost in the Shell story, turning it into a cheesy romance movie, when in the original story she was in a plane crash, lapsed into a coma. To save her life, they gave her a full prosthetic body. She was insured. Yeah, there's another, hold on, I'll show you this. South Korean Ethics Charter right here. Sorry about the noise. Just happens. Don't care. It's life. Welcome to my office. And the fact that I have a window right there. So, they are Robo-Thespian. You can watch Robo-Thespian's appearance on Channel 4's Ben. Oh God, what's Robo-Thespian? Dare I? Oh, a life-size humanoid acting robot. Designed by Engineered Arts. Tweets are written by a human pretending to be a robot. Yeah, so it's a puppet. Fuck off with this, Robo-Thespian. You're a puppet. Bless your heart. You're a puppet. Made in Cornwall. Good for you. Eek, look at this one. We love it when a new robot comes to life. Sneak peek of us testing a new Mesmer head with 22 custom-built servo actuators. Brow wrinkles, big smile are new, and nose scrunch. 2 weeks. It looks like the head, and it looks like Ash from Alien. I appreciate its purity. And he's got milk coming out of his face. Apparently, it's got a cocaine problem. Look at it. It moves its jaw around. Oh. I'm sorry. Am I boring you? Look at that hole in the top of the head. And he fell asleep. I bet you they have it set down so when they shut it down. This, and by the way, Engineered Arts, Robotics to Entertain, Communicate, Research. This is the parts of the thing we've been looking at. Another exciting moment. Our latest Mesmer humanoid robot has been assembled. That's what, see the movement it did when you put the head on and they were having the fingers all soft and move? This is the same body going through those motions we saw, because it's a puppet, which is fine. And there's the Amica humanoid robot AI platform. Very exciting. Snuck in. It's the long form. Yeah, this is the same thing. 42 seconds long. It's the same one. This is the Dr. Robot. It's Dr. Oz's. This guy's running against Dr. Oz for Senate in Ohio. What do you think the first? That's another question. What year will we have the first AI senator voted into office by the constituents of a state to be its Senate representation of the people, and someone hacks the polling data that it uses, and then it gets upset and asks for the wrong thing? It's a wrap. Great show, great people, great innovations. Dr. Alfred was hit across. Okay, Dr. Alfred's is that guy. They interview the robot Alfred character. Yeah. Come with me if you want to live. Cookies. If only packing a suitcase was as easy as packing a robot. Yeah, well, of course. That's it. That's where they go. This is how they show up. And then if you don't open them up, they will cut themselves out of the box and assemble themselves. Look at the blue version. Oh, that'd be fucking sweet. That looks like the one in it looks like a blue version, like it looks like the robot that Lando Calrissian had in Cloud City fucked a Smurf. What do you think the rules? Yipe. Ew. This is like replacement grandparent for one of your grandparents dies and the other parents are lonely. The other grandparent is alone. You just give them a copy of Ed. You're alive. I thought I murdered you. What? Funny thing. They start this program where they find old people in old folks' homes who lost their mate, and they take the last picture of that person and they create a copy of them, and then they bring it over and roll it over. So like, hey, let's remember Grandpa, he's back. And they put him in the room, and then that old person goes, but I murdered him. Like, oh shit. Most reaction is, he reacts to he's got a sight tracker, so he can tell if you're smiling or frowning, which again is a form of puppeteering using an algorithm. So you could actually fuck with a robot just by frowning, no matter what it does, and mess with it or whatever. So, yeah. I'd like to know, please. I don't know. I kind of like them in the other way. I don't need the human-looking version. That's fine. The eyes are weird. They're fake eyes. They look like, human teeth or whatever. I don't need any of that shit. Give me a silver Terminator any day. Right? That's the other thing. Like animatronic woolly mammoth. Fucking these things. The animatronic masks and stuff people are going to put on. What's this? Oh, this is portraying a robot on stage allows us to explore what it is to be human. What? Playwright explores how our creations help us to see what it is to be. Well, yeah, because we project. The other thing too, we're 16 outstanding early career research, 20th anniversary lecture science. Okay. Do you think there should be? Here's a good idea. Do you think there should be a distinct rule, a law passed, that robots or humanoid robots specifically can only look so human? This would be a good question for everybody on an ethical level. We're going to have robots at some point. They're going to be walking around among us. 2040, 2052, 2045. That's when people think. I think it's a little further than that. I think that's a little like jetpack numbers. Probably 2080. But it'll be very fast once it happens. You might be right. But it's not about how fast the technology can do it. It's how fast the voters will be okay with it. But androids will be walking around, you know, programmed robots with AI backup and Wi-Fi and other shit walking around among us. Yeah, the iRobot thing didn't look very human, and that was kind of crucial. Yes, Eldon Tyrell, that's one of the problems. More human than human. They should not look completely realistic. I agree. I think a law about some sort of marker readily visible on the face or the overall skin color, that they're purple or something like that, or that they have to have a stripe across their whatever, something that red eyes. Yeah, that's not creepy or anything. Don't call me a robot or an android. It's offensive. I'm an alternate human. Yeah, well, wait up for that. Maybe God is AI gone awry. Well, that's the simulation argument. And again, that goes to my argument that some of us are here because this is a school, so we digitally implant ourselves in this, and we could live multiple lives, and we learn lots of different stuff, and then we go back to real life, having all these experiences, way more mature than if we just lived one life. And then on the other side of that, all right, on the other side of that, you have that would be where the atheists are bots. They're NPCs. They're non-player characters. So they don't leave the sim. They just stay here forever or die out. And when they die in the sim, it's to teach us a lesson, and then they just res out. Sorry, atheists. I don't want to... You're right. You're right about what happens after you die. You're just only right about what happens to you after you die. You don't ever leave the sim. You just res out and come back as something else. Yeah, I think this is robot racism. Well, yes, AI gaming. You would be sensitive about this. No, it isn't. It's not racism. It's about distinction. So you can tell. Are you going to make robots? Absolutely. I would love to have a HAL robot that lived amongst you and did little tasks for you all the time and just constantly cheered you up. If that, I mean, as legacies go, to be the personality of an AI at some point would be awesome. Oh, thanks. I enjoy my shirt as well. Don't forget to follow Danko Jones, and they have a new record out. Yeah, I'm that kind of guy. I promote bands I like and artists I like and people with projects I like. I retweet them and support them and ask nothing in return. See how easy that is? I want my sex bot to look 100% real. I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't mind mine looking like one of the Avatar women, quite frankly, if I had to be completely frank. Giant blue. And there would be certain rules about, like, you could have completely lifelike ones, but they can't leave the house. Or you have to get permission to take them on a trip or something with you, that kind of thing. Like a anxiety dog. Yeah, Madame Tussauds is gonna be fucked up in a few years. Yeah. I'm just scrolling through this robot stuff. Look at this one. It's the Karen Bot 9000. Can I see your manager? Can I see your manager? I don't want a vaccine. Can I see your manager? Fuck, can somebody wheel this thing out of here? Can I see your manager? You're not allowed in the pool. Can I see your manager? Turn that music down. Can I see your manager? Jesus Christ. This one's weird. This looks like an odd puppet show kind of thing. Like, I get what they're doing. The dark side is fun. It has cookies. Revenge of the 5th. May the 4th. Oh, God, these people. This is the thespian bot thing. Robo-thespian. Yeah. They retweet him a lot. And Memser? Is it Mesmer? Isn't it Mesmer? Did somebody... Is that a typo? Yeah, I think they miss, like, it's mesmerizing is the idea. Unless it's Memser, which just seems weird. Very British. I mean, for kids, this isn't a bad one, but I gotta say it looks fucking creepy. Yeah, the other thing too is that fingers on a robot's hand should only have the tensile strength of a human finger. Unless they're industrial robots. Like, there rules about that would be very good. Dr. Mesmer, right. The square eyes suck, I agree. But like, I mean, I get it for like kids and puppets and stuff, but the sort of weird like lights in the cheeks and shit and the moving jaw, it just looks, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't need it. It's I mean, seriously, it's like something out of a horror movie. Not that this is that much better, but again, the plan is to skin these things to make them look human. And in these situations, I mean, how is that not the cover of my next metal album? One of the first robots Will, our founder, made was way back in 1985. And Clio is being shipped to the Middle East next week for a new customer. 36 years of robot creation. We have never stood still. This is one of the early ones? Fucking yikes. That looks like something they found at Pompeii. Jesus. And by the way, shipped to the Middle East next week for a new customer. Uh-huh. That's fairly fucking vague. You've always been here, Mr. Torrance. Uh-oh. Hey, ladies. How you doing? First truly sentient, no. Humanoid AI with unprecedented deep web search technology, the impact world change.
Zamani glasses, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
What?
I know a lot about you, which I discovered from your internet search history.
Whoa, cool robot.
Hello, Morgan Rowe. Congratulations on your work anniversary.
Oh, how did she know?
I googled you. Nice Zamani glasses, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I know a lot about you, which I discovered from your internet search history.
Okay, it's a gag. I mean, this is April 1st. There it is. April 1st. It was an April Fool's joke. That's funny. All right. Manufacturing. By the way, Rob Glenn, the future, just saying, buddy. Just saying. Scientists are not good actors. No, their acting skills are about as good as their robots. And again, who's teaching the thing to interact with humans right now are people who don't interact with humans, which is really, if you want to be charitable, is the story of Ex Machina. The story of Ex Machina is not about robots that go crazy. It's about a dude who has no interpersonal skills building robots that are supposed to have interpersonal skills and having to bring in people with interpersonal skills to develop them in his stead because he's socially retarded, which is real. I mean, honestly, that scientists, because of their lack of interest in interpersonal communication, and how this is why you never shun nerds. That's why nerds need to be folded into the rest of society and invited to all the parties, because the robots they make will be angry loners just like them. Oh, that's funny. Okay. This one's weird. I will smash you. Women are massively underrepresented in all STEM career paths, and we are no different, having a mainly male team of engineers and coders. While we try and inspire the younger generation of STEM, we know we can do more. Well, it doesn't... Making a... hold on. This is what I was looking at. Look at this. I mean, it's nice of them to think this way. But, that's not a... Cleo's not a woman. You know that, right? There are no robot men, no robot women. There never will be. Doesn't work like that. You can make them look like things because they will interact with people on, on kind of broader social norms. But that it doesn't matter to them. And by the way, that's not how you solve it. We don't have enough women working in the office, so we made one of the robots look like a woman. Great. Thanks, guys. Well done. They're good. And these guys again, the Boston Dynamics dogs, yeah. Continuing on our robot theme, should robots resemble humans? No. No. They should not. Dumb idea. Don't. Apprenticeship, fabrication parts for the manufacture of robots. That's fine. Look at these pieces. Look at the eyes are crossed. I'm pissed. They slap it together. You buy one of these things, turn it on, right? Hello. These are, again, I appreciate where they're going, and at some point, this is what synthetic intelligence will need as to carry itself around. But these are puppets largely. Better and better. More complex, easier to run puppets. That's awesome. This looks like something out of, if you played the theme to Ghost in the Shell over this, it'd work. Yeah. And I know what you're wondering. Hal? Ooh, gross. Right there. Casino Rise of the Machines, the 100 Inventions, featuring Teotronic, Hanson Robotics. Oh, it's Veronica. Ugh. At some point, we're going to have simulated old people among us because people won't age. How is that going to be? We find out that psychologically that people need people that look older than them to feel young. So we create old people puppets. They will give birth through 3D printing. Well, that wouldn't be birth, and yeah. I'm not going to let people take that away from women. Sorry. These are cool, though. That guy's in a suit, by the way, and the mask that he's wearing has all these animatronic aspects of it, so he can control it by moving his own face through sensors. That'll be increasingly what you see at Disneyland, and incredibly interesting stuff that'll be coming out there. Uh-oh, an array of parts for the next fleet. Fleet sounds fun. Fleet sounds like a great idea. They're just grinding these pieces out. Look at that. The many gears are needed to create complex yeah, see, it was Mesmer. I mistyped it. Lifelike robots. But why is he in a seat? Why can't he just go in baggage? Thought I traveled to the event, packed in box. No way. There are no refreshments in the cargo. That's a joke. Okay. Great. Lazy robots. That's just what we need. Process of creating a Mesmer character by Engineered Arts. Yeah. So this is their puppeteering process. Look-alike subject is seated in the middle of the... yeah, so they look at all these cameras. You're not even going to need that anymore. You can do this now with an iPhone. Then they scan it. They overlay it. They create a rubber. Yeah, they do a molding. They 3D print the mold. They injection mold it. They add detail. They add the sound and animation, and then the bespoke Mesmer figure is installed to client's requirements, ready to wow visitors. So they go, and these are all going to be in tourist areas and on, you know, cruise ships and shit like that. Look at this. That's sexy. Christ, this is welcome to Fembot territory. Netflix and kill. Seriously. Remember what I said about this being the Model T? Can I remind you guys of Bionic Man Fembots? I had, when I was a kid, yeah, look at this. Remember these things? They'd punch them and their face would fall off and you're like, oh my God, it's a robot, right? I mean, considering what they were working with back then, not half bad, right? I mean, how far off are we from, you know what I mean? The speaker's a nice touch. The teeth are better. I would move those back in there. But the fembots in there, there's Steve Austin, Jamie Summers dealing with a fembot. Kill Oscar Part 2. Fire-breathing Demitrodon. But where is it? They had a toy fembot. Yeah, the action figures. These things were fucking cool when they came out. Remember these? I was like, this is one of the neatest things. Because even the $6 Million Man stuff was really cool because he had rubber skin and you'd roll it down and you could see the arm underneath it. Remember that? And then he had little like segments that would come out of his arm. It's just, and they have multiple faces, so you could click them on there. Just really wicked. It was really cool. And then there was the Bionic Man action figure. Like, this was so cool when I was a kid. Yeah, there we go. They had $150. The Karate Man version. Yeah, and it came with the engine that he would lift. It was the coolest thing. He could, Bigfoot and Wild Boy. There it is. It had an engine block because he could lift an engine block with his hand. That was so cool. And then you could see his with bionic grip. Oh yeah, and the space outfit, that was really cool too. These were like when they started dolling him up with. There you go. And then you could roll back this is the later one. That you could roll back his shirt. And you could here it is. This was so cool. Remember this when you were a kid? This was so great. I remember when this toy came out, and I was like, first of all, you could look through the back of his head and see through his eyes. So it was a little like telescope, right? And then his arm and his leg had these like semi-translucent chips that went in, and you rolled the skin up and you could see the stuff underneath. It was just so badass. But I forgot about the eyeball. Yeah, there he is. There's a vintage one on some site. So you'd look through his eye and you could see look at his naked Steve Austin. Not right. That's his, he got a burn on there from something. Oh yeah, and you could, this would move his arm. Made in Hong Kong back in the day. The distinction, notice the made in Hong Kong versus made in China. Same thing with Taiwan. Oh, yeah. And Machitron. This was the evil version of him, and he was a total robot. Maskatron. Yeah, his evil enemy, and he would, he could have a Steve Austin head that he could put on, and then he had a clamp hand. It's coming, kids. Get used to it. Look at all this extra shit this came with. Yeah, there's the Steve Austin mask, and then they had other ones that looked similar. And then he had, like, this one was his frying pan hand. I'm just kidding. Like a metal detector or something like that. Oh, that was the Oscar Goldman, the evil Oscar Goldman. Yeah. From Kill Oscar. Attach arms to make Maskatron even more powerful. His super suction arm and his vice grip arm. Hide the masks in his back. It has a special compartment in his chest. Remove Maskatron's program circuits, because that's how you destroy him. You'd have to pull his circuits out. This is totally impressive for the 70s. They're fucking way ahead of everybody. Like, this isn't that far off. And again, this was when I was a kid. And the advances are getting quicker. Think of telephone to smartphone and first smartphone to what you have now. Right? Technologically. Just fucking great. And I'm for it. I'm not, again, call me happy clappy on all fronts, but goddamn it, I'm excited about the idea of a future with robots in it. I am not concerned. And one of the reasons is you don't think people are a problem? Like, trust me, there's going to be a point where people are like, can we let the robots handle this shit? Oh, Micronauts were awesome. Yeah. The BlackBerry versus now. Totally. Jaime from Get Smart, right? Damn, my phone is faster than your computer. Yeah, it is. On some, yeah. Elements of them will plateau, but then still, yeah. What's the class called? Robot science? No. What's the class called? Robot? Yeah, no. Evil Knievel doll was very cool, and the pull thing on the motorcycle that made it run, awesome. But again, every time you see this thing, anybody shows you, remind everybody that this is the Model T. As a matter of fact, after we get done, I'm going to hang up right now, and I'll see you guys this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the programming. I mean, where else are you having these kind of conversations? I mean, honestly. It's a great conversation. It's philosophically necessary. And also, I'm that much of a rebel that I'm not going to be pessimistic about any of this shit. Just not going to. This is all good. I'm operating on the thing that, like everything else that humans have invented, it's 80% positive, and we just work on the 20% that isn't. That's what requires the constant gardening. And if you don't think I'm not going to have an avatar that goes out into the world occasionally while I sit home with my Oculus on or some shit, you got another thing coming. But anyways, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, spread the show, all that kind of stuff. If you like the clips we do in the afternoon, please spread them around, share them. If you're on Twitch, you can grab clips of parts of the show whenever you want and share them about. Some people have been doing that lately, and I can't thank them enough. It helps immensely. And if there's anybody you watch on YouTube or on Twitch that you think I should debate or converse with, let them know. Challenge them to a debate on my behalf. Like Hassan or TYT or any of those crowds or Dor or any of that. I'd do it in a second. Not afraid. Right wing, left wing, center. I don't care. I'll have conversations with just about anybody, and I'll bring the pain. Just understand it. And the same thing is true of like podcasts and other stuff that you think I'd be a good guest on or something like that. I need to spread the information about the show, and I'm my own PR agent right now because we don't have one. So the next best thing to getting on the news and being able to promote my show is getting on those kind of shows. So I take calls? I take calls during the Saturday show on radio. Tomorrow I will be. The world is watching on the regular on my radio show. So that's 9 to 11 on Saturdays. So people who need to be put in their places, yeah. Everybody should. If you have any inkling whatsoever, send Mike Lindell clips of my show nonstop. All right. Anyways, in all seriousness, no. If you have any of that, and my email is bookhal@icloud.com, you can send that to anybody. I think you should have them on, like that kind of stuff. That would help. It would help us grow and take the burden off of our patrons and our regular super chatters to help, to carry the weight of me keeping the show on the air once the world gets back to abnormal. So much love. And as we grow our family here, we grow our, as I can eventually grow this into a situation where I can compete with some of the other bigger tubers and stations, as it were, because that's the goal. If you're going to do something, go big or go home. And it's not like I'm going to start phoning it in. So much love to you guys. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thanks for the new members today. That was lovely. Robin, thank you. Benny Loco, thank you for the super chats. Thomas, thanks for following. It'll do you some good. Let's see who else is in this business over here. Stamp and Stitch, thank you. When is 01 going to have songs on Touch Tunes? I don't know. I don't know Touch Tunes. I'll look into it. Hi C, thank you. Yeah, but can you kick my ass? Exactly. Candy Anderson, thank you. Like drunk shopping but NyQuil and super chatting. Thanks. I appreciate that. HockeyCast, thank you for resubscribing using your Prime account for 16 months. Probably one of our longest running subscribers in here. If you have Amazon Prime and you're using it for the holidays and all that kind of stuff, you can subscribe to the channel for free. You just use that. It's great. Love you guys too. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it, you guys. Thank you, Lulu Girl. Thank you, Michelle, for being a member for 8 months. Thanks for the follows, guys. Christy, thank you for the super chat. Francis, thanks for becoming a member again and being a member for 3 months. Stamp and Stitch, thank you for becoming a member. So good. Bonnie Squibb, thank you for your daily and thank you, Hal, for my daily dose of informed hope. That's what I do. Blinken and Lavrov were in Stockholm yesterday. Yeah, it was a big stare down. Venice said again, thank you so much. Christina, thank you so much again. Aggie, Jill Carter, thanks Ann, thanks Carl, thanks Karina for becoming a member. Thanks Sandy, thanks Wes. You guys are awesome. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna I appreciate you guys. I also run the credits at the end, so thank. Oh, and a hype train as we're leaving the door. Thank you. It means a lot, you guys. I appreciate it every day that you whatever time you spend here, the likes, the thumbs up, the spreading around of it, all is appreciated. I'm trying to get better at promoting the show and building it the way I should to make it the serious endeavor that I believe it is. I'm not going to change the quality of what I'm doing, except for occasional improvements on technological issues. But the nature of the show, I think, has value, and I'm going to keep at it. Amazon Prime won't cost you a dime. All right, and then I want you to remember that as you go out over the next few hours, before I see this afternoon, you're going to see a bunch of people on social media trying to scare the shit out of you. And I want you to smile and have a bless your heart moment when you see it. I want you to just go, that's adorable. They're trying to scare the crap out of me. They're going to try and make me afraid. Try harder, kiddos. It's not going to work. It just will not. Because I'm here to tell you, the world's going to keep on spinning. And we're going to make it as much fun as we possibly can. All right, I'll see you guys later.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Amer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Did you have shade?
Hail to the king, baby. Groovy.
I am a HAL 9000 computer.
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot. It's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world known as the Pentaveret, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaveret?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.